Now, you've got a huge, massive, mega, big announcement today. I'm building it up. I'm pretty pumped.
Your hands are in the air. Again, we need video here. What's going on, Phil?
Well, as you know, we had this crazy dream for years. In fact, before I talk about this, did you know coming up on the 7th of December this year, it's going to be the 35th anniversary since Vision officially started.
Praise
Wow.
God.
So that was the point when there were 6 people got together and they had their very first official meeting to formalise what would become Vision Christian Media.
Wow.
It was back in 1988. Do you remember what you were doing then?
Expo,
yeah.
World Expo here.
Yeah, it was the bicentennial year in Australia. It was a big year in Australia, and particularly because that was the year that Vision got going.
Yeah,
so,
there we go.
And you think of all the things that have happened since then, steps of faith that have been taken, some of them small, some of them huge, quite daunting. Some incredible things have occurred for the growth of this ministry today to be reaching over 1 million people every month. So that's actually made up of qualified survey data from an independent survey company, McNair, you've probably heard of them, that surveys our radio audience, and then the actual figures from what we're doing online and devotions and so on. So it's north of 1 million people every month. That's a pretty big church when you think about it. And as a supporter of Vision, you're part of that. So I love being part of Vision. I love hearing the stories that come through. And I love it when we get opportunities to take more big steps of faith. And you'll know that in recent years, we've had some pretty big ones, Matt. Getting into this building that we're in today was a huge step of faith. Of course, the Hobart FM high-powered service that came along, which has been on air for almost a year now, that was a big step of faith. Along the way, lots of regional stations that have been launched. This year, digital radio in Brisbane was a big step of faith. And I am pleased to be able to tell you, Matt, that we're about to take another 2 big steps of faith at the same time. And I'm excited and I'm daunted all at the same time.
That's a good thing.
Because from early next year, I'm pleased to be able to say Vision will be expanding in our digital radio service into Sydney and Melbourne.
Whoa, big news. Wow, that was amazing.
It is huge. I mean, you think about the amount of people that live in Sydney and Melbourne. There's about 10 million.
Wow.
That live in Sydney and Melbourne. It's
Fantastic.
And it is a big step for us. It's all part of our dream to just take the gospel to every corner of Australia through media, and we're doing that through a mix of media. So, talking about radio broadcasting right now, of course, we're online. We have, even print has a place still. Yes. And I think will for a long time. To your point earlier, Phil, actually, that the printed devotion is, I think, better than the electronic one, because there's not all the distractions in there that go and look at your email or Facebook or whatever else.
Yeah.
But look, we're just so excited by this. It's a big step up. It's a step of faith. This is a decision that our board has taken to step out in faith. And of course, it comes with some dollars attached, and we're believing God to supply what we need.
Wow. Now, that is awesome news. And I'm so excited because Phil and I were just saying before, one of the biggest problems with Vision is that a lot of Christians you talk to, they go, I've never even heard of it. Don't even know what it is,
Well, how do I listen to it?
How do I listen to it,
And how wonderful to be able to make that as simple as possible.
Yeah.
Really simple. So think about this. Brisbane, Sydney and Melbourne, half the Australian population right there will be able to access Vision through digital radio citywide in each of those cities. Now, we've been in those cities for years on some other services, but not covering the whole city.
Yeah.
And in Sydney, for example, Western Sydney AM. So if you're listening to us on that at the moment, from next year, it'll be sometime in January.
I was going to ask, when are we going to be switched on?
Yep, sometime in January. You'll be able to switch on to DAB, really high-quality signal, and anywhere throughout the whole city. And the same also, if you're listening to us in Melbourne on one of our AM services, you'll be able to listen to us on DAB Digital from next year.
Fantastic. Now, I do have a few more questions to ask about this, and so get ready. I'm going to grill you in just a moment, but we do have to go to a break. We'll have more from Phil Edwards, our CEO, in just a moment on Vision.